Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, students. I hope that we are all adjusting well in this online learning environment. So, anyway, I am Joyce Evera and I'll be your discussant in today's discussion. And as you can see, our discussion for today is all about the evaluation techniques. And before we proceed to our discussion, let me introduce first to you our main objectives. So in our objectives, the students will be able to define the evaluation techniques, identify the different techniques in evaluation, and last, explain the different techniques of evaluation. And now to start this discussion, let us define first what is evaluation. So evaluation is a systematic process of determining to what extent instructional objectives has been achieved. Therefore, evaluation process must be carried out with effective techniques. Well, this evaluation is like a test. Well, it is a broader term than test, and it includes all types of examinations in it. So the purpose of it is not only to check the knowledge of the learners, but all the aspects of the learners. And as I've mentioned earlier, that evaluation process must be carried out with effective techniques. We have 8 evaluation techniques. We have the objective test, the essay test, students' demonstration of skills, informal students' writing, students' created product, informal students' observation, student self-assessment, and peer assessment. So let's start first with the first one. As you can see, I don't have slides on objective test, but to give you an idea, objective test is a paper and pencil test which students select appropriate answers from alternatives. So these are tests whose answers are either correct or incorrect. So in brief, these are type of tests that requires the learners to select the correct answers among one or more of options. For example, the multiple choices, wherein you're going to choose a correct answers from the given choices. The matching test, wherein you need to connect those words that are connected to each other. The true and false test, and fill in the blank test. Now, what is the advantages of this test? So, very easy. This test is very quick to score and it avoids bias. And some of the considerations are that sometimes questions that requires high level thinking will be difficult and time consuming to prepare. Maybe it may cause those in misinterpretations, and actually you don't get much informations. Why? Because they choose the alternative over the others. Next is the essay type of test. So it is also a paper and pencil test, and you have your learners to discuss or analyze and describe, and usually it is an open-ended questions wherein you can see the students' insights and reflections. So in short, this is a type of test that requires students to thoroughly respond to questions or prompt by developing or organizing an original composition. So what are the advantages of this type of test? So it is a less preparation time because you only need to give certain questions and students will be the one who will answer it by their own opinion or perspectives. And it also encourages the students to have a creative thinking, as they need to think comprehensively in order to answer the set of questions given to them. However, in consideration, it is time-consuming to mark, and sometimes the learner's writing ability may limit their demonstration of thinking and knowledge of what they know and what they think. Next, we have students' demonstration of skills. So what does it do? Well, it performs a skill according to a standard given in a course, meaning to say, it is a presentation through which students demonstrate what they have learned, usually as a way of determining whether and to what degree they have achieved expected learning standards or objective for a course. Now, what is the advantages of this? Well, it could be live or video recorded, and it is easy to check or to score because you have this checklist and you are just going to mark, and you can give a corrective feedback right away. And also, it involves the peer so that they can provide feedback. Next, we have informal students writing. So what does it do? So this is a one-page memos to instructors. It's maybe journal writing, learning logs, or short summaries. And on its advantages, the information on law learners is processing the learning, problems, and questions. And it also helps track own learning processes wherein it can be used for assignments. Next is student-created product. So on its word product, where it is a outcome. So it includes the presentation, a piece of writing, video, display, or dramatization. And on its advantages, it gives a learning opportunity wherein it involves research, and usually it is a quick scored with criteria because it is a product or an outcomes. Next is a student informal observation. So what does it do? So the instruction here observes discussion in group or assess panel presentation. And the advantage of this is that it gives immediate information on students' level of understanding. Next is student self-assessment. So what does it do? So this type of test is based on own goals, setting, and self-assessment. The instruction here helps to plan, identify the resources. And on its advantages, the learner here takes responsibility for their own learning and evaluation. And it also reduces cheating, and it gives meaningful learning, motivation, and commitment to learn. And last, we have peer assessment. So what does it do? Well, this peer assessment, it uses criteria wherein learners provide written or oral feedback to a peer. And on its advantages, the learner here internalizes the criteria and assess themselves. And also, it gives better understanding of expected standards and evaluation processes. Now, what are the questions to consider in evaluating? So first, let's consider the question, will this be graded? Should effort be rewarded? Do learners know what I think is important? Should this evaluation be used to show a learner's accomplishment? Or do my evaluation reflect my original objectives? And how do I reward learners from their efforts? So, these questions may possibly help you to evaluate the students, to evaluate their performances. So this would be all for my discussion. I hope that you learned something from it. And thank you for listening, and have a great day ahead.